What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Nilo Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be talking about a lot of things and making them all tie into one. And the running title I got right now is Chadwick Boseman, Conspiracy Theories, and the Problem with Pluto in Capricorn. So let's get into it. So as many of you know, over the weekend, the actor Chadwick Boseman, known for his roles in Black Panther, 42, James Brown movie, and others, passed on. And whenever things like this occur, me personally, I'm always interested to see the backlash and people's reactions on many different levels. Okay, I am a YouTuber, and you people tune into me to take in my perspective and things of that nature. And I can't say that I watch as much as I'm a YouTuber. I can't say that I watch a lot of, or I'm on YouTube a lot. Definitely not as much as I was when I was like awakening and all of that. Life just takes you certain places. And me personally, I'm more of a reader than a watcher. I'd rather read books and extract my information from there. But when things come to my attention, I might watch them, and I consider myself a very open-minded individual. So I'm not above conspiracy theories at all. I will always give a good conspiracy theory a listen. So I've been overwhelmed with the amount of conspiracy theories that I've seen over this man's death. And I'm listening to people. And one thing about me personally and how I channel my gifts and my energy, it is through listening, deep listening, contemplation, and intuition. You listen, you reflect, and ultimately spirit will guide you to what you need to know. That's a personal tip from me to you. Everyone works differently and all of that, but that's just how, I work and how I discern information. And discernment is key, y'all. This is going to bring me to this point as a reminder that you heard me say many times. Neptune is in Pisces, which is a hell of an influence, which is the reason why I'm afforded this opportunity to be here broadcasting spiritual information while we're all here seeking it and growing and all of that. But remember, there's two sides to the coin. There's the truth, there's the clarity, there's the high spirituality, then there's the illusion, the fraud, the illusion, or people with delusions. So anyway, going back, I'm listening to several different videos about, people's takes on Chadwick Boseman and what happened. And, I'm hearing sacrifice, and with a lot of different theories, some using astrological knowledge, not actually breaking down his chart, but just saying he was born in Sagittarius season. This happened in Virgo season. So, yeah. Anyway, my point about this is that I've also said this before. With Jupiter being in Capricorn this year, and Jupiter representing spiritual figures, and Capricorn being materialism, and the 10th house, all of this. This isn't, to be very blunt with you, there are going to be a lot of false prophets and people in general playing the role of Jupiter who are not really about this life, who are here for notoriety, success, and ego boost to cash in Capricorn wise. Okay? So with that said, I'm encouraging everybody, listen, whatever resonates with you. But as you study the human mind and what it means to be human and all of that, you'll realize that Human beings are programmable. We are programmable, okay, and susceptible to forced perception, auto suggestion. And there is a point in which we all have different gifts, right? I'm a reference astrology. Someone who has their Mercury conjunct Venus, this person cannot know they cannot know what they're talking about. They can be completely inaccurate in their assessments of what they're speaking on. But because of that combination of Mercury, the intellect, the communication skills, and Venus of charm, likability, that person can make anyone believe what they are saying is indeed accurate. Particularly if you're not going to do things like fact check, okay, or think critically. And mind you, this is just a side note. Everyone doesn't need to go to college, but one thing I can say from going to college does indeed help you think critically. It really does. That is a very strong point of college. It teaches you to challenge what you are being taught and think for yourself. And that is my suggestion to a lot of you who are very engulfed in YouTube and absorbing a lot of information. Just because someone makes a video sounding like they know what they're talking about does not mean they do. You have to discern for yourself what is fact and what is fiction and what just doesn't add up. I'm telling you, please, because it's a cycle. And then you have another type of person who hears this information and then they go out there and they tell it to others without just like, oh, this sounds right to me. So something within their personality, maybe it's a Jupiter in the first, a Jupiter in the third. They go out there and they tell people the information that they learned, which is just false. And then this is how you have people out there just saying a whole lot of hogwash. All right. So be mindful of how you take in information and don't just accept it. And I just try to lead by example and give you guys good perspectives on how to view things. Okay, so needless to say, there's a lot of conspiracy theories about Chadwick Boseman and all of that. One of my favorite quotes is, "True knowledge is knowing you know nothing at all." So I don't know anything except what I know, right? And I've listened to these things and I've digested them, and yeah, they're just not resonating for me. So if you want to just know my personal thoughts on this, anybody who attains a certain level of success, high success, there are sacrifices that have to be made. This is resolved in the non-physical realm. This is when you're signing your soul contracts and all of that. It's a balancing scale out here, okay? I'm going to have these strengths in life, but I'm also going to have to deal with this. No one has it all. Even people who are highly, highly, highly successful may have had some shitty childhoods. Anyway, so there's a notion here that Chadwick was taken out. I don't know, but that doesn't resonate with me. How I feel in the greater scheme of things, I feel like at this point in Pluto and Capricorn, particularly since we had Saturn and Pluto conjunct this earlier this year, one of the ramifications of this is the loss of legends, the loss of people who have made their mark in the world of Capricorn in 10th house endeavors, highly accomplished people. It's that time. It's something, right? That it's like, all right, you're no longer needed in this plan of things. Okay? This is just how I choose to look at it. If something smells funny to me, like it smells like, okay, this wasn't right, I'm all for it. And like I said, I ask my spirit guides for confirmation, guidance, and if it resonates, it resonates. It doesn't. Okay? So my whole thing with these conspiracy theories is that ultimately it leads you down that other side of Neptune and Pisces of delusions and illusions. When something, this is the square to Sagittarius. Sagittarius is truth, right? If you get too engulfed or lost in illusions, right? It smears your ability to see truth or to live your truth. And along your spiritual journey, there will be things that you learn that you will have to forget, because certain real truths that you will learn that you will have to forget, because at the end of the day, we're playing a game. It's a matrix out here. And carrying the weight of that makes it harder to play the game. So at the end of the day, anyone who knows anything about like Kabbalah, the tree of life, we want to take the middle path. The middle, not picking a side, but take the middle path. That's how you remain on square and able to experience the beauty of everything. So there's some food for thought there. All right. You don't want to get too sucked in, even if something comes to the fact that's true. If you let that thing take you off your square into the fact that, oh, I have to share this information with the world about these conspiracies or this secret activity. This is how you become the hangman. Misunderstood, seen as a crazy person. But if you absorb that and you add it to your truth in Sagittarius, you know what is for you and what is not. What you're willing to sacrifice and what you're not willing to sacrifice. You have a moral compass, and that guides you. So I hope all this is making sense. All right? It's my little thing about the conspiracy theories and all of that. The next point I want to make about Pluto and Cap, and this is like a personal realization. Something I've been known, but it just became a little bit more clearer over the last couple of weeks. So I'm watching the verses with Brandy and Monica. I'm over here like, man, this is dope. This is really like good. And a funny thing occurred where Monica previewed like some new music, right? And then even as the battle progressed, she played some of her more current things into the 2010s and all of that. And I realized like, yo, the quality of the music that they made within the 90s, early 2000s, when Pluto was still in Sag, there's an authenticity, there's a realness that holds up. And the music made during Pluto and Capricorn, now mind you, we can view this from many different artists. It just doesn't have the same feeling. Even if it's a hit song, it doesn't have the same feeling. There is something missing. And it brings me to this point about Pluto and Cap. Pluto and Cap, if you go back and you watch old movies, I'm trying to think of one. All of this was highlighted, like a point where things weren't authentic anymore. They were like tailor-made. They were tailor-made, like, okay, oh, this is a good idea, so this has to work. It's worked in the past, so let's just do it. The movie that's coming to mind for me right now is two of them. CB4 with Chris Rock, I think the homie Alan Payne, where they're not real rappers and they become rappers impersonating like a lifestyle, like being gangsters and stuff. Like basically homie stole the real dude's identity. We can see this manifested through Rick Ross, right? Rick Ross, the correctional officer who assumed the identity or the persona of Ricky Freeway Ross, right? And also the movie that comes to mind is like Brown Sugar, where there's a group in there called Ren and 10, the hip hop Dalmatians, right? Where it's like, okay, this should work because it's like a good gimmick. This is Pluto and Cap in an instance. And what I'm trying to say is that the problem here with things that we're doing these days and the difference between who's prominent and who's not is that you need clout. You need that gimmick in order to succeed. 12th house of Capricorn is Sagittarius. So there's a loss of truth. There's a loss of integrity. There's a loss of like putting your personal stamp or culture into whatever it is that you're doing. And we can see this on many different fronts, even with Donald Trump. Realistically, this is like something out of a movie. It's like, okay, here's this guy who should never win the presidential seat, but we're gonna make him run and see how this works out. And in true movie fashion, he wins. All right. And it's been like a movie, right? Okay. So my advice to you is that for those of you particularly on your journey, artists, creatives, if you want to get ahead, build a gimmick. Do what works. Google like, okay, what's the industry I want to be good in and how can I copy them? How can I, and how can I use whatever exterior motives to lure people in? Chances you will, but it probably won't last. And here's the thing about Capricorn, like in business, you may be hot for a moment. You may get what you want at that time, but will the legacy sustain itself? If it lacks those things of Sagittarius, the integrity, the truth, the authenticity, it won't. So, like I said, seek to be real. You preserve your sense of self and your soul by being conscious of what you believe in, not just accepting things because people say it. Knowing who you are and what you want to put into your creative endeavors, morals, not sacrificing those. And it's kind of like one where like to be on the Sagittarius end is to become the hangman, but to be feeding into the delusions or being delusional is kind of like what's seen as clear these days. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does, but I just felt compelled to share this message. All right. So these are my thoughts for today. Feel free to chime in. Let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you could do so now. Until next time, peace.